Free will is a topic that causes a lot of trouble for Christians and non-Christians alike. However, the topic is deceptively simple, and the key lays in the question, why did God create? Although there are many ways to approach a discussion on such a topic, I'll forego the traditional hermeneutics and hopefully sidestep the conflict between creationists and evolutionists and possibly appeal to the agnostic with a logical and a philosophical approach. I hope that you will find merit in the strength of my argument alone, rather than in your own past teachings. In the beginning, such well-known words that hold a wealth of meaning. What came before the beginning? If the beginning designates the creation of the universe, earth and all upon it, then this suggests that before the beginning there was nothing except God alone. So God creates, and there is an act that holds its own rich implications, but what he creates is far more revealing. First a home, and then people in his own image. In the Garden of Eden there is no sin, no toil, no pain, and no rules except for one. Adam and Eve are given only one directive: to not eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I find this interesting, not because of the nature of the tree so much because of the singular nature of the restriction. In a following eon, we would see God in an attempt to give people some semblance of a knowledge of right and wrong, handing down to Moses hundreds of laws. But to the first of his children, there is only one. Ask yourself why, and the answer begins to become self-evident. He doesn't prescribe violence, theft, murder, nudity, or spitting on the sidewalk, none of the big 10 that Moses was later to carve in stone. Why in fact bother to have any law at all? The answer is because if you cannot choose to do evil, then you also cannot choose to do good. Or to put it another way, if you have no choice, no way to be disobedient, then you're not choosing to be good at all. The tree, with its forbidden fruit, becomes necessary to elevate people from the status of robots who have no option but to do what they're programmed. God in fact gives Adam and Eve the option to disobey him, and in so doing enables them to choose to obey him, rather than being forced to obey through the simple expediency of a lack of options. Let's go back to the original question. Why? We say that God has created people in his image and given them free will. The purpose of creation is self-evident in its nature. God has created people for the purpose of having a relationship with them. When a dog gives birth, it breeds puppies. Cats have kittens, trees have seeds, and God, it would seem, has people. If there is one consistent theme throughout the Bible, it is of a parent who yearns for his children to grow up into a full potential, to come home, to be part of the family, completely free. Free will is the mechanism by which he makes this possible. And of course, it has its problems. Not the least is naturally the ability to choose to disobey, to do wrong or evil. This is how a loving God can allow bad things to happen to good people. Allow me to illustrate. Years ago, I had 2 sons who were 4 and 2 years old. Though they were the most beautiful children in the world, because, you know, they were mine, even I could see that they had some flaws. The oldest had a habit of running through the house with little regard for whether his younger sibling was in the way. Each time the youngest was knocked over, a favourite toy was snatched from his hands, or some other minor cruelty caused tears, I would patiently explain to the oldest how he should be nicer to his little brother. But to no avail. One day, the youngest was playing with some Lego blocks, long since discarded by his older brother, who'd gotten tired of them. Tired, that is, until he realised his younger brother was playing with them. The poor little fella, he was pushed aside and the toys reclaimed. I saw this from far, and as he wandered off crying, I withdrew, temporarily, despairing of what to do. A few moments later, I noticed the little one return behind his brother and on wobbly baby legs lift up the solid plastic container, carefully to crack it down on his older brother's unsuspecting head. Apparently satisfied with his revenge, he wandered off to find something else to play with. For my part, I was surprised, but decided that I lacked the certainty to chastise the younger son for his response. Crying, the older child came to me to complain, whereupon I sympathised. I kissed his sore spot, I held him till he stopped crying, and then I proceeded to explain, as simply as I could, the concept of cause and effect. I won't say that he became the perfect brother, but he did become noticeably less thoughtless as he charged about the house from then on in. Now, dear reader, imagine that I am, in this instance, like God. I don't intend any heresy here, it's just a metaphor. I see my oldest doing something wrong. I could keep a close eye on him and prevent him from doing the wrong thing. But that doesn't make him a better child, just a more carefully watched and restricted one. I see in this example my youngest is about to do something wrong. I have it in my power to stop him, but I choose not to. They exercise their free will. There are consequences. Hopefully, they will grow as a result. So it is with God and his children. If God intervenes to ensure that only good things happen, if we are prevented from doing anything wrong, then we're not his children. We're merely carefully programmed robots, or at best, well-trained pets. You are, of course, free to disagree with me. That too is free will. But when you write in your angry comments, try to make sure that you understand why you disagree. If it's just because you were brought up to believe something different, then you're not really doing anything other than being a robot again. Think, explain yourself, and who knows, you might even change my mind. This is the voice of Bard.